morning to publicly announce that I am a candidate for the South Carolina House of Representatives in District 37. But when I was unexpectedly asked by my party leadership to run, I did what came naturally to the daughter of a minister. I asked my family and my friends to pray for me as I deliberated, because this was not, I repeat, not a decision that I would make alone. I still had a major issue, though, even though I asked family and friends to pray for me. And that issue was, how would I know when the answer came, and how would I know what the answer is or would be? And my brother, who is a minister in Richmond, Virginia, he said to me, Delores, you will know when events start pointing you in a certain direction. And that's exactly what happened. During this time of deliberation, I also reflected on a saying that my mother always instilled in all of her children. And that saying is, let your word be your bond. And because of that, I knew that if I made the decision to run, that my word would stand as my bond. My word would have to be the last word. So now that I am in the race, I want to assure every one of you that I will stay in the race, and I will work very hard to win the race. So I am on the ballot in November. And here's what I want you to remember about me. Please remember that I believe that as a citizen of the United States of America, we should have a choice, a viable choice, as to who will represent us. I believe that government has forgotten that we, the people, are its most important customer. That government is here to serve us and not the other way around. I will be diligent to work on the issues of importance to the people of District 37 and to look into matters that are important to you and to look into those matters on your behalf, whether they be regarding a governmental agency or current law. I believe that each person in District 37 who wants a job should have a concrete job opportunity available. With a 12% unemployment rate in South Carolina, it's critical that we tackle this issue immediately and not continue to put people on the unemployment roll. And I'm thinking now of the 2,500 teachers that are projected to lose their jobs in September, on top of the 1,400 who lost their jobs last year. As a legislator, I will seek ways, including bringing in new business and industry, to reduce unemployment. I will work with, sorry about my papers here, it's very windy. I will work with the State Chamber of Commerce and other business-minded entities to support economic expansion in the upstate. Of course, new business and industry here will also expand our economy and broaden the tax base. I believe the South Carolina tax reform legislation of 2006, better known as Act 388, needs to be revisited. We need to revisit that piece of legislation because we need to bring about fair and equitable taxation. I believe that as we work to revamp our economy, our education must keep pace. And certainly we can't do that if we continue to lay off teachers. But our education system must keep pace. And we must be prepared to train our children to become a formidable workforce. Yes, I would say even an attractive workforce for business and industry that are thinking about moving their company to our area. It has to be a workforce that is competitive with the workforces educated in the school systems of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And I name those countries because they are our primary competition. We have business and industry outsourcing to them all of the time, and that is a leak that we must plug. If you'll stand with me, I will stand with you as I arrive in Columbia. I tell you today unequivocally that I want to work on your behalf. I want to bring your thoughts, dreams, desires, and insights to the table at the State House. I will listen to you while I run, and I will remember you when I sit at the table. I want to do the people's bidding. Excuse me. say that our issues are too serious to hold grudges or play politics. Our legislative decisions profoundly impact our families. Did you know that studies have shown that when women are involved in the governing body, that they're more likely to open up the process to people who don't normally have a seat at the table? And women are more likely to represent family and women's issues than males? But sadly, here in South Carolina, women are woefully underrepresented. Even though we outnumber men in this state 51% to 49%. There are 170 seats in our state legislature. 153 of those seats are occupied by men. Only 17 are occupied by women, and they're all in the House of Representatives. There are no women in the Senate. Did you know that Act 388, the tax reform law, authorizes 80 exemptions to our state sales tax? And because of it, we have lost hundreds of millions of dollars to education in this state, and our legislators are still hesitating to formulate a remedy to address that law? Did you know that one of the 80 exemptions is a $300 cap on our sales tax that applies to all vehicles, even luxury vehicles, yachts, and airplanes? Did you know that heart bypass surgery, the most common surgery in our country today, cost a friend of mine upwards of $134,000? And my question is, would you be able to handle that type of catastrophe if it hit your family, if you didn't have health insurance? Or even if you had, or even with health insurance, would you be able to handle that? And I shudder to think that our state legislators seriously considered cutting our most vulnerable population, or one of our most vulnerable populations, and that is the disabled. Had it been allowed to stand, it would have had a profound and negative impact locally here in Spartanburg County on the Charles Lee Center. In the days and months ahead, I'll talk more about the Tax Realignment Commission, or TRAC, which has been appointed by the State General Assembly to review and make recommendations to possibly overhaul our tax system. There is much work to be done, and I am ready to do it. I am ready to offer my services. And speaking of service, I want to let you know that I have a niece who is currently taking her basic training for the Army in Fort Jackson and Columbia. I also have a grandson who is protecting this flag as a military policeman in the United States Army. And I do believe he's about to be deployed, and he's about to be deployed into dangerous duties. He is ready to go into harm's way to preserve our freedoms in this country. And I wanted to say that I selected this day to make my announcement because it's close to a wonderfully symbolic day, and that is Flag Day, which will be celebrated this coming Monday, June 14th. Finally, I want to end with a short reflection of an experience that happened in my teenage years. In high school, I faced what I considered at the time to be the biggest challenge of my life. Yes, I was a typical teenager, drama. I decided when I was in the 8th grade that I wanted to be a varsity cheerleader. That was the biggest thing in my life at that time. Every year, I would try out, and every year, my name was missing from the roster posted on the bulletin board. Finally, in the spring of my junior year, I said I had tried out all these years, I might as well go for it again. So I tried out again. And if I made it this time, it meant that I would be a varsity cheerleader in my senior year of high school. The news came the next day, and as I nervously looked down the list posted on the bulletin board in the gym, I was concerned. My heart was pounding. I thought I would see what I'd always seen. But this time, I saw my name was there. I can't describe to you how I felt that day and at that moment. But today, reflecting on this incident and remembering how hard I had worked to achieve that reward, I better understand the words of famed NFL coach Vince Lombardi. Vince said, winning isn't a sometime thing, it's an all-the-time thing.